I didn't ever really want to serve a mission. Like, apparently I did at some point. My mom found a journal from 9th grade seminary where I said, I'm going to serve a mission. But as I got closer to the age where you would serve a mission, it wasn't something that I wanted to do. And my answer to people was always kind of sassy. I'd say, I'm not a man. It's not my priesthood duty, which was terrible, I realize now. But I never really wanted to. And anytime anyone would ask me, I would get annoyed for some reason. The adversary was working on me, but the Lord was too. So it all turned out okay in the end, but I really wasn't feeling it. And then I remember the day the age changed, I was 20 already. I was going to be 21 in the next 5 months. And I remember just kind of thinking about it and going, I could do that. And then like a week later, my heart hardened again. And so I kept going through my life, just kind of doing my own thing. I thought it was good enough. It should satisfy everyone, the Lord included, that I was going to school and I was doing good things, and that should be just fine. But it never seemed to go away. Everyone would keep asking me about it and keep asking me. And I remember when it all changed around was in September of 2013. I was living at an apartment complex that I lived at for 2 years already. And the girl I was going to live with had gotten engaged, and so she wasn't going to live with me anymore. And I really didn't like the place that much. And so I didn't want to live there if she wasn't going to be there with me. And so I just tried to sell my contract, and I did so many things to try and sell it. I put it up for sale at BYU. Like I put it on the campus boards for sale, and I put it on Craigslist and KSL and all these different websites. I Facebooked it. I did everything but stand on the corner and try and panhandle off my apartment. And it just wasn't working. And I was very prayerful about it. I even went so far as to find somewhere else to live, and they were ready to sign with me, and I just couldn't get this one to sell. And so I remember one day I just thought, I'm going to go to the temple, because the temple solves everything. So it was a Tuesday afternoon. It was September 3rd. And so I was currently living at my parents' house in northern Utah so that I didn't have to live anywhere and worry about moving all my stuff in. And I went to the temple, and I went in, and I remember I was the only person in the baptistry at the time, because it was September 3rd at 11 o'clock. Everyone was in school, and I went into the baptistry and I said a prayer, and I said, Heavenly Father, I can't do this. I can't live here anymore. I'm not having a good time. I'm not meeting people. I'm a little miserable, and I can't do it anymore. Please help me sell this contract. And I just had this overwhelming feeling of peace come over me, that everything was going to be okay. I remember thinking, oh, sweet. It's going to sell, because that's what everything's going to be okay means in my book, that the contract's going to sell. By the time I go home, someone will have bought it and it'll be fine. So I got up and I went into the baptistry and I did baptisms. And as I was leaving, I thought, I'm going to pray one more time. And I sat down and I prayed, and I said, Heavenly Father, please help me to sell this contract. And it was the only time I've ever heard the Lord speak to me in an audible voice. It was like someone was behind me and whispered, go on a mission. And that was all I heard. And I just thought, oh, okay. And so I did. I went home that night and I began my paperwork. A week later, it was in Salt Lake. And 2 weeks after I went to the temple, I had my call to the Texas San Antonio mission. And 5 months later, I entered the MTC on February 5th.